Hi, and welcome to another Athena Insights video. My name's Linda Murray, and in this video, I'm going to share some simple ways to help you maximise your productivity. In fact, this tip is so simple and so time efficient, it's just one word. I truly believe that time is our most valuable asset. Time also seems to be the one consistent thing in life that there's simply never enough of. We are all busy, so busy, squeezing in so much into every day that there always seems to be more to do than there is time to actually get it all done in. In today's fast-moving world, we all have our usual day-to-day tasks to complete, and then on top of that, there are always extra projects to get done. So let's think of that as your regular workload. The mistake I see a lot of professionals make is that they plan their capacity just based on their regular workload, but fail to allow space for anything else. So what do I mean by that? Let's imagine your capacity or your run rate is a glass of water. Filling that glass to the very top would have you running at full capacity, right? Or let's call that 100% capacity. Here's the challenge. Firstly, try filling that glass of water to the very top and then walking with it. What happens? Well, it takes a huge amount of concentration and focus to keep all the water in the glass, and even then, within a few steps, water is going to spill over. And the same applies to your workload. When you have a full glass, it takes a lot of concentration and focus to get through all those tasks without dropping the ball or making a mistake at any point. Secondly, if we schedule our time based on filling that glass to the top with our regular workload, we're not leaving any capacity or time for the unforeseens which will inevitably pop up. We are already incredibly busy trying to get through our regular workload. Anything extra that arises is going to force that glass of water to overflow, and that's a problem. When that glass overflows, or in other words, when we have more to do than we have time to do it in, something has to give. Now, when you originally filled this glass to 100%, you'd decided that everything in there was important, right? So now that it's overflowing, you're having to sacrifice something which is important. And of course, that creates great stress. In order to maintain a high level of productivity, you actually need to plan your time differently. We need to structure our time to allow space for the extra things that come up. That could be a problem which arises that needs your urgent attention, or perhaps you or one of your team gets sick and needs to take a few days off work. There are unforeseens which can't be predicted or avoided, but they are inevitable. So in order to maximise your productivity, you actually need to be realistic with your time and plan to do less. I know that sounds a bit counterintuitive. In order to achieve more, you need to plan to do less, but that is the case. If you schedule your time so that your regular workload takes up just 80% of your time, then you're allowing that 20% for those unforeseen extras that pop up. This means that when those extras do arise, which they always do, you have the time to deal with them. The result? Everything gets done and your stress levels don't go through the roof. I'd like you to take a moment to get some clarity around how you will be spending your time. Look ahead at the next 12 months in your role or in your business. What does regular workload consist of? What are the projects you're going to be working on? What are the changes that you can actually see coming, and how might they impact your workload? Feel free to pause this video and make a few notes on that. So I'm sure many of you are thinking, but I'm already running at 100%. Where on earth am I going to find that extra 20% of capacity to make space for the unforeseen? Don't worry, that is completely normal as a thought process. For most of us, just doing 20% less simply isn't an option. In fact, I think most people would agree that thanks to technology, we seem to produce 20% more output every single year. So in order to find that time, we need to work smarter, not harder. We never just find time. I mean, when was the last time that you were sitting at your desk and you looked down and were like, wow, there's an hour that I just found hiding under my desk. That's the hour that I've been hoping to find. It just doesn't happen. We don't find time. We make time. The first way in which I believe we can start to work smarter, not harder, is to simply ask yourself why. Why do I do this task this way? Why do I multitask all the time? Why do I keep doing things which I know aren't efficient? Why don't I create a better approach for this particular task? Why don't I question how I do things? When we get into the habit of asking why, we start to notice inefficiencies everywhere. We can all admit that there are those tasks that we do inefficiently. You know, those tasks that frustrate you every time you go to do them and you just think, oh, this is so not the best way of doing this, but I'm too busy right now to deal with it. I'll come up with a better way next time. We can all relate to that feeling. In the same way that you won't find an hour sitting under your desk, just waiting to be found, you're also unlikely to find a whole hour that you could save in how you do one single task. What I am certain of is that when we start asking why, you're totally going to find 5 minutes here and 3 minutes there just by working more efficiently. This is how you find the extra hour in your day. It's actually the combination of lots of small increments of time which will ultimately add up to an extra hour of time. So my challenge to you, to help you work smarter, not harder. Firstly, slow down to get more done. Plan your regular workload to take up 80% of your capacity, not 100%. Secondly, before starting a new task, ask yourself why. Rather than racing through every task as quickly as possible and then flying on to the next one, stop for a moment and ask, why do I do this task this way? Or why don't I create a better way of approaching this task? Taking that moment to pause at the start of every task and then coming up with smarter ways of achieving the same outcome will save you hours every single week. We're always looking for more time in our day. Commit to practicing these 2 simple productivity tips for just 3 weeks and start to notice how much extra time you make in your day. Have you got a topic that you want to hear more about? Post it in the comments section below. And be sure to stay in touch and take a few moments to subscribe to Athena Insights below. Until next time, here's to your success.